What's going on, guys? King Shrats here, back in the video on the channel, and today is one of the saddest days in the history of Burger King, in my opinion. They thought it was a good idea to get rid of the best fast food sandwich in the game, which is known as the Chiking. So as you can tell, I am very happy by the look on my face, but they did come out with an alternative sandwich, which is known as the Royal Crispy Chicken. There are a bunch of variations. Just like the Chiking had, they had a normal Royal Crispy Chicken sandwich and then a spicy one, as well as two bacon, a bacon and Swiss, as well as a bacon and barbecue version. So I got the bacon and barbecue version and the spicy version because those are the two that I will compare it to the Chiking. Burger King, this is like the L of all L's. I'm sure that they will say something along the lines of that they weren't making enough profit on it. I thought the Burger King Chiking was the best fast food chicken sandwich on the market. So I'm pretty sad, but we gotta try it because I'm gonna give them a chance because I still like Burger King. And yeah, so that is what we'll do today. You can see how happy I am. If this turns into a rant in advance, I apologize, but I'm gonna give it a chance beforehand. So it is my duty as a food blogger, as a content creator, to review the sandwich. That is what we'll do today. If you're digging the content, of course, you wanna see more of these food reviews. We got all kinds of content on the channel at this point, but we've been putting out a video every day for over 4 months at this point. So I appreciate any like, subscribe, thumbs up, all that cringy YouTube stuff. Without further ado, let's get into this. I'm gonna start with, I don't know which one's which. This is the spicy, so we're gonna do the spicy Royal Crispy Chicken sandwich. Let's see what we have already. Let's see if I'm depressed already. Pull this out. Okay. I can see already one good thing. So again, I'm gonna be as objective as possible, and that is, it smells like this is the normal Chiking sauce on here. It looks like what they did is just change the patty, which is already an L, but the bun seems the same. The patty is just smaller, and they're charging the exact same amount. I got tomatoes, does come with lettuce as well. It does have a spicy sauce this time, which is what came on the Chiking, I believe, as well as that normal savory sauce. So I'm depressed. It looks like they just tried to go cheaper. It's just a smaller version of the Chiking. It costs the exact same price. That is just... Bite the sandwich, bro. Alright. Again, I'm going to keep my bias out. This is like a Chiking Jr. That's exactly what it is. The spicy sauce gives it the exact same flavor with the savory sauce. You just notice, if you saw the Chiking, that the patty is significantly smaller. It's like an eighth of the size. I doubt it's hand breaded this time. It's probably just like a regularly processed patty. It's no longer the GOAT in the market. It's still good though. I like that sauce, which is what I enjoyed. If you're not familiar with the spicy sauce on the Chiking, it's not spicy. It's got a little spice to it, but it more gives you the Nashville Gold or Nashville Hot type of seasoning. So it's not a bad sandwich by any means. It's just worse. I would definitely just compare this and call it a Chiking Jr., which is whacker. It's weaker. It's just what I thought was a perfect chicken sandwich is now, because of the smallness of the patty, just good. It is now dropped from the number 1, in my opinion, to the number 4. It's still better than McDonald's. I like the brioche bun. That's still the same. Like, again, the only thing that changes is the size of the patty. Size matters. Pause. I'll still eat it. It's just depressing. It's like it went on a weight loss plan. The Chiking patty was a bigger, thicker, all white meat patty. And this thing doesn't even... See, look at the real estate in the bun. Doesn't even cover the bun no more. Overall, it went from about a 9.8 to about a 7.9. I'm not giving you an 8, bro. I'm not. You just ruined my whole... But again, still good. Still good. Some onion rings. Y'all can tell by my energy that I'm just happy in it. But if they wouldn't have dropped the Chiking first, I would have said, yeah, this is overall a solid chicken sandwich. But it definitely just changed the whole vibe with how much smaller this is. It's like an obvious, we weren't making enough money. And that's their prerogative as a business. But screw you. Let me tell you, yesterday, I was hella salty. When I found out, when I saw that sandwich, I was like, oh, nah. Oh, nah. I went to order it last night, but when I went to order it, it was like 9:30, and they said they didn't have any more left, which means they didn't feel like doing it, and I'm not freaking arguing with nobody through a drive-through window, so I just said, okay. So that's the story from yesterday. But they do have another variation which I want to try, which is this, the BBQ Bacon and Cheese Royal Crispy Chicken. Y'all ain't even royal at this point. This one looks better though, I'm not gonna lie. This patty seems like it's got a little bit, look, this is a better, patties ain't uniform like it used to be, because this one's bigger. But cheese, barbecue sauce, and of course that bacon on there. That same premium chicken bun, which I do enjoy. This one looks a lot more appetizing. It just don't hit the same, bro. It doesn't. I'd be lying. Again, this is comparable to me to every other chicken patty type of sandwich that came out, but not the premium joint. So it's got nowhere near Popeyes, and nowhere near Chick-fil-A, and nowhere near KFC. They had to do what they had to do. Save your money. And I'm gonna save mine, because I'll never order this again. This deserves the barbecue sauce. I like that sweet barbecue sauce stuff. Lots of bacon. Lots of bacon. I'll give them that too. There's definitely about 5 strips of bacon on here. God put a little bit of onion rings on here to make it like rodeo style. But overall, it went from being like great to just like pretty good. Now I'm gonna be honest, I'm just one person. But the chicken was carrying Burger King. Everything you see here is, to me, what makes Burger King a good fast food place. Burger King is by no means, in my opinion, great. It's not an elite fast food place. I put it in that like B tier. It's good, but you only can order a few things from there. The onion rings, the rodeo burger. You can get the dessert stuff, but I'm counting more of like the true like fast food burgers, fries types of stuff items. I don't even really care for that chicken sandwich they have anymore. No, the longer one, it used to be really good, but for some reason it kind of fell off. Like their restaurant overall. I'm mad at Burger King, bro. I'm gonna eat the sandwich again. It's not a bad sandwich. It's just not what it was. And they had a hard carry with the chicken, bro. Hard carry. It was the only truly elite fast food item that they had, in my opinion. And it's gone. So, like Taco Bell, they take our favorite items and they get rid of them. So, I'm gonna get a quick bite of silence for the chicken. Y'all really had a W item on your menu. And again, I guess you had to say if the profits didn't hit like you thought it was. I was the champion of the chicken. I was one of the few people that I've seen on the internet saying it was one of the best in the game. So, I guess in that case, I was not the majority. And I gotta take that on the chin. But I tried, BK. I was here for y'all in the struggle. I was here. But this is an L. Not because your sandwich sucks, because it doesn't. It's just not even that much better than McDonald's. To me, their chicken sandwich, the premium one, was nowhere near as good as the other one. This one's closer to McDonald's than it is Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is light years ahead of that. Light years. And I was one of the few people that was like, yo, the chicken. I did a chicken sandwich wars, the whole 9 yards. But this patty, the meat isn't as tender. The breading is not as crispy. And it's nowhere near as juicy because it's so much smaller. Pros, I'll be honest, the spicy sauce I enjoy personally. A lot of people don't. They wish it was spicier. Completely understandable. But I had a thing for like that Nashville Gold taste that it had. And the savory sauce, it just went. And when it was fresh cooked, it had Such a good texture. The outside was so crispy, the inside was juicy. I had a good location. Some people said their location sucked. Again, completely understandable, because Burger King is not one of those fast food places where it has a very uniform, it's standard, where their quality is good every location you go to. There are 3 near me, and only one is truly like, they don't mess up often. That happens to be the one I'm at. So, that's real. Not as consistent, but it is what it is. Burger King, I love y'all, but you have now dropped down to a C tier restaurant. Because the only thing bringing it up to a B was a truly elite item and some good onion rings. I'm not going to Burger King just for onion rings. So next time I go, it'll be because they dropped a new item, or they're the only place open. That's real. People say I don't like everything. I feel like I always try to be as honest as possible. When it comes to fast food, this is a $5 to $6 sandwich. I can get a Chick-fil-A, a Popeyes, and a KFC for the same, if not less, of a price. And your problem with me is Popeyes, KFC, and Chick-fil-A are all within a mile of that Burger King, so Whopper don't whop no more, bro. It don't whop. Zesty sauce and onion rings is not enough for me. So, it is what it is. I feel like sitting here and ranting even more, but I feel like I said what I need to say. So with that being said, y'all see the sadness, bro. In fact, I'll be honest with you, Burger King, you're at 5th. I completely just forgot about Jollibee's chicken sandwich. Light years ahead of this too. You're 5th. You're still better than McDonald's, but KFC, Popeyes, Jollibee, Chick-fil-A are all better. With that being said, keep the spicy sauce in rotation. If you get rid of this, we ain't got it no more. Anyway, let me polish off these 2 rodeo burgers. I got a story to tell y'all. Something happened today which was truly just, it made me really appreciate the internet. Because without the internet, I'd have been in a bad place or a bad situation. When I was going to Burger King, 1 second. Let's just keep it up. Let's just give a round of applause for one thing that Burger King does right, which is the rodeo burger. Depends on the place. I've seen it for $1.50 up to $1.99. We'll get you a nice cheeseburger with onion rings and barbecue sauce. And this is just nostalgia on a patty for me. So I still enjoy these. Rodeo burgers and onion rings are like your truly hard carries at this point. Just not enough. Anyway. This right here, bro. Value for coin at fast food. Value menu item, rodeo burgers are way up there. I'm gonna say that. Now my old self is old enough to remember when the rodeo burger was $1, and that was when it was truly elite. Just like the McChicken. But if I had to rank those, maybe we'll do that one. There's a little value menu. The cheap eats. Fast food item. Do a little tier, right? Because I know the rodeo burger and the McChicken are just like way up there. But after I picked up my stuff, I stopped at the gas station. I need some gas. You know how gas is these days. And, you know, it's coming down, but it ain't down yet. So, I went to get my gas. I was at Wawa, and I stopped in Wawa just to see, because I heard they had some like key lime donuts they didn't have. But I went to check. They didn't have them, so I walked back outside, go to get my car, and it won't open. Never happened to you? Where your car won't even open? Turns out my key fob, you know, my car's a 2021, so I don't have anything else but the key fob. The battery was dead. So first thing I know, of course, if you have a key fob, is there's always a little key in there. So I'm sitting there going, man, what am I going to do? I got in this car. So I open up my car with the key fob, and the alarm starts blaring, bro. Now, I'm not a panicky person, thank goodness. Person looks like me, just hat on, dressed in all black. 9 o'clock at night, at a Wawa, which is not well lit, in an area which is, you know, not the best. It's not the trenches at all. But stuff happens in this area. You know, it's somewhere in between. Not quite suburban, but not quite, you know, the trenches. It's somewhere in the middle. You get stuff, but you know, get what I'm saying. Anyway, So I'm looking around like, oh man, I ain't finna. I get in the car and sit down, the alarm is blaring, bro. Go to press the ignition, obviously it won't work. So the first thing I do, thank goodness for the internet, is I hop on my phone. And I type in how to start my car's make and model with no key fob or a key fob is not working. Up pops YouTube. A dude with full instructions on how to start my exact make and model, bro. Without that, I don't know what, because I have a spare key, but I live by myself. I can't get nobody to go get it for me. I would have had to get somebody, I guess, to call and be like, yo, pick me up, drive all the way back to my house, come all the way back. You know, it's 9 o'clock at night. I'm not really trying to do that to nobody. But of course, it pops up. How to do it. It was a very weird thing, by the way. I'm not going into this. I'm not trying to give away my car's make and model because people are weird with stuff like that. You know, I gotta protect that. But I got super lucky. Like, I just think about this. It's 2022, obviously. In the mid to late 2000s at this point, I was able to drive, right? So, I just feel like back then, because we had cell phones, obviously, but we didn't have regular internet available until, I want to say, like, maybe like 2012, 2013 was when everybody had internet, because before that, you could get on the internet, but most people had Blackberries. iPhone had the iPhone 3, so you didn't really have access to all the stuff you have now. There was no instant uploads. Of course, Facebook, MySpace was a thing back then, and Twitter were a thing, but you couldn't just take a picture on your phone and upload it like you can now, which sounds crazy. You know, like the way technology is kind of advanced, but it wasn't available. So in that case, like, I could have like made a TikTok and be like, yo, I'm stuck, somebody would help me. You know what I'm saying? But you couldn't do that back then. So it's just, as much as people hate or can't stand like the technology, especially when I talk to people that are older than me that were like, you know, 80s kids or 80s adults or 90s adults and so on. I was a kid in the 90s, so I remember the internet, but like I didn't really do anything on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I would just like mess around. You know what I mean? So in that era, if you were stuck in your car in the 80s back then, 80s didn't have key fobs, so it wouldn't happen. But what I can tell you did happen, because I have some friends this happened to. Some of my friends drove cars from the 90s in like the mid to late 2000s. You know, your first car was, some people have like 92, 93 Toyotas and stuff. And I'm talking like in 2008. So some of y'all that are younger might not realize this, but luxuries like power windows and key fobs did not exist back then. Like, if you wanted to roll down your window, you had to, you know what I'm saying? It's just weird stuff that you take for granted. Most cars back then had tape players. You know, if you had like a later car, I was lucky enough that my first car was I want to say it was a 99 or a 2000. So I had a CD player and I had power windows, but some of my friends didn't. And people would lock their keys in their car, bro. I actually had somebody that happened to recently. They were driving like maybe like a 2009, but back then cars didn't come standard with it. Now every car comes with power windows. Back then it didn't. You had to get like the upper versions. Like if you got the lowest version of like a Honda Civic, it didn't come with power windows and stuff. It didn't. So, or the key fob, it had a key. And people would lock their keys in their car. Now it's impossible to lock your keys in a car with a key fob, because the car won't lock. Like if I leave my keys in my car, the car starts honking when I walk away from it. Like, hey, yo, so you go back and get it. But before that, you were just SOL, man. You were messed up. So it actually happened to one or two of my friends when we were like, you know, just being stupid kids. You hang out in like parking lots and stuff, whatever. And they locked their keys in their car, bro. Because you had two options. 2.5. Option 1. You call somebody that has your spare. You're a teenager, so you probably could call your parents if they was around, and they'd come and get you, but they'd be mad as hell. First of all, what you doing in this parking lot at 2 a.m.? You know what I mean? But they will let you out. Option 2, you call like AAA or like roadside assistance, and they would have to come like, they called it a Jimmy. I don't really know if they use them anymore, but like You could use a I'm not going into how to break into cars, bro. Don't ask me how I know that. But you could, like, you had to go in and catch the latch and lift it up, and you could unlock your car. Now, most tow places had a Jimmy back then. But if you really was, you know, questionable, you knew other ways to do it. But that, not going into that. But anyway. Well, option 3, which was option 2.5, you could break into your own car. I remember one time, this kid broke into his own car. He broke the freaking window. His own car. There was no spare. And AAA wouldn't come because it was mad late. And a lot of cars back then, because you had 2 sets of keys, they couldn't find another one. Because it was like a 94. He had this ugly ass green Honda. Oh no, it was a Toyota. And it was like this ugly green color with like cloth seats. No, but it was a car, bro. No one cared. But it had cloth seats and the roll up windows and, like, you know, like an ashtray. Like stuff that you don't see no more. I just thought that was wild. And I remember my mom's car when I was super young. It was actually mad old. Like, I don't know what year it was because but it was a Buick. And, like, you're talking early 90s. So I'm not, like, old enough to... I remember what the car looked like. And it looked like one of them old 70s cars, bro. But that was her first car. It might have been. But it was a Buick. And it had, like, a rag roof. Like... that you would have to staple. I remember this, like, it was not, because we didn't have a lot of money, so we didn't have what we could drive. So you had to, like, staple the roof because it'd be falling down. You in the back, it'd be like me and my sister, bro, these little ass kids, like, and there wasn't nobody gonna steal that car, but a lot of people stole cars while I was, like, really young because I didn't grow up in, like, the greatest place. But I just remember being in the back sometimes and the roof would just, like, be, like, right here on your face, bro. So you just, like, staple it back to the top. And it had an ashtray, and, like, the front seats was, like, one big seat. I'm telling you what the old cars look like. It had, like, one big seat, like, you could just, like, slide across from one I used to do and get in trouble. And she had, like, a radio, her thing, she would press a button, and it had this, like, orange thing, one side to the other, and it didn't have power steering, bro. Like, power steering is something we take for granted now. You know what power steering is? It's when you turn the wheel of your car, and it turns back for you. Or... when you park the car, you can't turn the handle. Like, in them old cars, bro, it was like this big wheel. And you had to turn it back. So when you turn the car, you had to, like, bring it back straight. I feel like it was much harder to drive back then or something. But I never got to drive it. I was like 3. So that's the difference. But I got lucky because it's 2022. My key fob was gone. And I just looked on YouTube real quick. And you can find anything on YouTube, man. You could be like, oh, how to change your tire. And it'd be a dude like, yeah, we're going to change your tire. Hold on here. Take the little jack off. We're going to put this here. We ain't have none of that, man. And the people, like my parents were, I guess, teens in like the 80s, right? So they ain't have none of that. It's just like the technology thing. I was like, yo, thank goodness for technology. But I feel like sharing that story, bro, because I'm one of those people, I really don't panic. So I stayed calm, but I feel like a lot of people probably were like, what do I do? You just got to find solutions for stuff. But thank goodness it's 2022. I wonder what cars are going to look like soon. I know they're going to electric, and there's a lot more like touch screen stuff like that. When I was first getting my car, like the cool thing to do was to get your own custom radio. It would like light up low CD players. You could take the whole face off it. Again, mid to late 2000s. And cars didn't have touchscreens back then, you know. And most people didn't have even a CD player, especially my age, because you're talking first car, 17, 18 years old kids. And they had to have like a tape cassette that you would put in and then plug into a CD player. And if you didn't have a good CD player that didn't have anti-skip, this is real. You'd be driving and a CD be skipping the whole damn time. You made mixed CDs. You would go on like, you know, LimeWire and stuff like that. And you would download a song. It would take like 3 days to download one song. And then you get like a CD list of like 10 songs, and you like it would burn a CD, put the CD in the computer, make a CD. It was a lot of work. Now with all the streaming and stuff, you don't have to worry about that. But, you know, and I feel like back then, being like a teenager, most of my like, you know, the older people I knew were like, y'all don't realize how lucky you had it. We didn't have no tapes. It'd be old people from the 70s talking about, yeah, we had an 8-track and stuff like that. I don't really know what the hell that is. I know what a tape is. I remember having tapes. But I don't really know how that worked. The 8-track. I guess it just had 8 songs on it, but like, did it rewind or play? It was just big looking thing. I know what it looks like, but tapes were wild too, because when you wanted to hear your song, you had to like rewind that shit and find the right, like if you had a whole album and you like one song in the album and somebody messed with your tape, you had to like go back to that one. Like you had to sit there and press rewind and fast forward and rewind. You wanted to record stuff off the radio, you had to wait. I used to do this as a little kid. I would wait for like a Biggie song to come out. I remember that, like super little bit, like Biggie or like Tupac and stuff like that in that era. Mace, Puff Daddy, yeah. But you would sit there and wait for the song to come on, like Funkmaster Flex would come on the radio, and you would put like a little, like you would put tape over the one part of the tape, like Scotch tape over the cassette, so that you could record it on the radio. And you sit there and wait, and you would listen to the radio all night for one song. And you would pray that Funkmaster Flex wasn't the one that played it. If you grew up in the tri-state area, in the New York area, you know who Funkmaster Flex is and how he used to ruin every song by putting 46 sounds of like, and then he start the song over and so it would just be butchered, and everybody would clown you when you would turn it on, because we used to walk around with radios as kids. Yes, like you're talking 7, 8-year-old kids on bicycles with a radio, like a boombox, bro. Old as hell. We had like a boombox, and you had like DMX on it and stuff like that. So you had to have a tape, because you couldn't walk around with a CD player. So you had to have a tape. Even though CDs were a thing, we still listen to tapes. And if you didn't want to do all that, you waited till you got your hair cut and you go to the barbershop. This had to be certain types of barbershops. I don't know if you went to, but if you was in barbershops where I was at, like, you know, it would be a dude that would walk in with a briefcase, like a luggage, and you called him like the bootleg man. The bootleg man would come in, and he had every CD and movie that you wanted, bro. It was like 3 for $5 or whatever, and he had it all. He's the hustle man. He'd come in, and if you asked him for anything else, if you asked him, he'd come have it for you next week. I mean, you get your cut. So that's when we used to get it. Go to the barbershop, get some bootleg DVDs, CDs. What y'all know about that? I don't know how I just ended up doing that, but I had to take y'all back for a second. But that is going to be the end of the video. Burger King, you suck. Decent sandwich, but it's not what it was. It is what it is. We move. I'm going to Chick-fil-A, or I'm going to Popeyes, or I'm going to KFC. But with that, we'll be back tomorrow. More content. I love y'all. The hand signs, they made it to YouTube.